Light Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and broadcasting live from Sidecar Social at the Star in Frisco. Brought to you by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Tastes like Miller time. Albertsons and Tom Thumb, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys. Blue KC, the official bootmaker of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com, make your crypto play today. Buffalo Wild Wings. If it's game day, Buffalo Wild Wings is the place to be. Altec Lansing. Just listen with Altec Lansing, perfecting sound since 1927. And by Omni. Omni Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's Victory Monday!
Now, your hosts, Nicole Hutchison and Brad Chen.
It's Victory Monday. That's what they all said. And that's right. Welcome, everybody, to the Cowboys Hour. Thank you for joining us after a really inspiring Cowboys win in the middle of the freaking night, for crying out loud. We'll talk more about that, but what a thrilling way to win the game. We really appreciate all of you who have come to join us here at Sidecar Social at the Star District in Frisco. We thank you for joining us wherever you are on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network and where and whenever streaming on DallasCowboys.com. Nice to have you with us. And we are especially grateful, and I mean that in every possible sense of the word, to have the Cowboys' perennial all-pro guard, Zack Martin, with us tonight. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you stopping by on your way to Canton, Ohio. Thank you very much. We were literally just talking about what time we respectively got to sleep. Now, Nicole was on the post-game show here.
Yep.
And so you were done working at?
Like 3:30 this morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And we were still near.
Yep.
We're just taking off.
Pretty close. So how much sleep did you get?
I slept probably like an hour on the flight home, and then walked in my house just before 6, and then, I got some young kids. They're up.
I know, they're
rumbling
fantastic.
around about 8:30.
I'm so glad you brought your family.
Yeah.
Why are they all the way? Why
I
are you
don't
guys
know.
all the way over there? You should be in the middle of things here. Hi, there we go. That's what we're talking about. They are beautiful, all of them.
Thank you.
And so, what time did they decide you were done sleeping?
Probably about 8:30. Yeah, about 8:30, and then we were in the building today about noon. Got a little workout in, flushed the body out, and then back in bed.
And then back to bed.
Back to bed, yeah.
Got a little nap.
I got a couple hours.
Good for you. How much more challenging does that become after 10 years?
Yeah, the recovery time is definitely, each year becomes more and more a little bit. But I will say Coach McCarthy, he does a really, really great job of taking care of guys. We weren't in there long today. Just get in, get a little flush workout. We'll be off tomorrow. And then, he usually adjusts the schedule accordingly after one of these, late road games.
How has your recovery?
And when we get 3 in a row on the road, 3-night road games
Yeah,
in a row.
3-night road games. They're time, we play on our division, obviously the East Coast, so those are always late flights back. But always better after a win.
Fine.
No question. Sorry, Nicole.
No, you're fine. How has your kind of recovery process changed over the years?
Yeah, it's changed a lot. When I first got in, I was feeling good all the time, just like, oh man, I bounced back pretty quick. And I would say ever since the COVID year, I think that's kind of that year that switched a little bit for me, and I started to put a lot of more time outside of the building into recovery and my body and being able to stay healthy.
Sorry, doing what?
I've got PTs that I go see. I get massages and
How often? Pretty often?
Yeah, every week, and I go see
Acupuncture.
I've kind of done it all. I'll try anything, and so if I feel something works, then I'll put it into the routine.
And so, what this week? What day will your body say to you, "Okay, we can go try this"?
Thursday, like practice, we'll kind of get into it and loosen up, and then by Friday, I'll be feeling pretty good.
Ready to go.
Yep.
Here's the other part that people don't realize. I was just thinking, leaving the facility, getting in my car, the last thing I want to think about right now is getting ready for the next game. And all I got to do is do a little studying. Do you on the day after, do you like try to avoid thinking about the next game?
Yeah, Monday I try to just hang, start my recovery process, hang out with the family, and Tuesday on the day off is kind of when I'll dive into the next week opponent and kind of get a preview going into the week.
All right, let's talk about this game last night. Even though you couldn't understand what I was saying.
And it was kind of an ugly win, right? Carry a lot of weight, and you get a big, Coach McCarthy always says you get a big chunk of confidence from games like that. And I just think, with certain guys, we had some big-time guys not play last night, and for those young guys, especially on defense, to step up and really get some stops when we needed them late in the game, it was awesome to see.
If someone would have told you before the game, you guys are going to have 11 penalties, 3 turnovers, lose Tyler Guyton and Marshawn Nealon, and so many different things y'all have to face adversity.
Turn it over twice in the red zone.
Yeah. I mean, what would you have said?
That's not the formula that we talk about, I would say that. But, again, we talk about it all the time. The last year and a half we've had a lot of games that have been kind of out of control, either in our favor or not in our favor. So to have some of those games where you got to dig deep and just find a way to win, especially on the road, is huge for our team.
How did the I'm asking you to dial back 8 years, but how did the atmosphere, great atmosphere in Pittsburgh? The fans are fantastic.
They're awesome.
Sad I missed it.
How did that feel different than the one in 2016? Because you weren't supposed to win. That was in November.
Yep.
You weren't supposed to win that game either, and some big plays by Dak and Zeke. Do you remember how it felt different?
I always say this. People always ask me, do you have a favorite game or road stadium? And I always come back to that 2016 Pittsburgh game. And, last night had some of those feelings, just the atmosphere there. As early it is in the season, a lot of stakes on the line, right? And so it was right up there. And like you said, when the towels get going and that music starts playing late in the game, I know it's supposed to help the home team, but it kind of gave us a little extra juice there at the end too.
What is it about Pittsburgh that always seems to bring out that gutsiness from you guys?
I don't know. It's a really cool stadium. It's right there on the river there, and that open stadium, and the towels are whipping, and I don't know. It was a great night for football. Although we had to sit in the locker room for an hour and a half, but it was a great night once we got started.
How'd you handle an hour and a half?
It was tough because I think we've only had one since I've been
had the one in Denver a couple of years ago.
One, and luckily we were talking about it last night when we were in the locker room. I was happy the game didn't start, and then we had the delay because that Denver game we played about a quarter and then got delayed. So it was good. The locker room, the guys were loose, so we were getting around. People, it went by pretty fast, and we thought we weren't going to go out to 10-ish, and then all of a sudden Coach came in the locker room and was like, "Hey, we're going out in 5 minutes." So guys started getting all their gear back on and getting ready to go out.
So Steelers score 4-something left in the game.
Yep.
And you are sitting on the bench and grab your helmets during the kickoff and get in the huddle, and everybody is thinking and saying what?
Well, I think we were pretty confident because, like you mentioned some of our stats from last night, we felt that they weren't stopping us. We were stopping ourselves, right? We were moving the football consistently, and I think we had a lot of confidence that if we took care of our part, we could take the ball down the field and score. And it was a great drive. We were running it, we were throwing it. Different guys were making plays, and all the way down to the last snap of the night.
What do you think about the run game finally coming together?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It was great, and that's something we emphasized all week. And credit to the coaches for sticking with it. Sometimes the run game, it's not always you're hitting big runs every time you hand the ball off. It's kind of a culmination of the whole game, and I think late in the game we kind of felt it that we maybe had a little bit of edge and had a little bit more in the tank, and Coach did a great job of calling those runs.
That's interesting. The Steelers probably thought, look, even at that point, we're ahead, we're at home, we've got a great run defense.
Yep.
They probably thought they had the edge. What would make you think you had it?
Well, I just think, we started that series off with a run, and I think we called the same play 2 or 3 times in a row.
I know. I think it was on that series. Rico touched it 6 times in a row.
I think we called the same play 3 times in a row, and we're getting about 6 or 7 a pop on it. And, anytime you can string some of those together, the confidence builds, and then the defense is thinking about stopping the run, and then things open up down the field. So I've always talked about it. The run game, everything goes through the run game, and it was nice to kind of get that going last night.
What were your thoughts on that Jalen Tolbert game-winning touchdown?
Yeah, I mean, again, another guys that stepped up last night, and Eric Kendricks, we do the game day captains, and Coach gives the captains the night before the game an opportunity to kind of just say a quick few words to the team, and Eric gave a great kind of little speech last night talking about how this is the NFL, is taking advantage of opportunities for guys that may not have them, and different guys like that just kept stepping up throughout the game and making plays.
Well, we're going to take a break, and then I'm going to ask you to talk about a couple of the guys in the offensive line who really stepped up last night. We are it's Victory Monday.
Woo! What is
You
this?
people were not up until 5 in the morning. It's Victory Monday.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. Okay. We are at Sidecar Social at the Star District in Frisco with the Cowboys All-Pro guard Zack Martin, and we'll be right back on the Cowboys Hour.
Back to the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and broadcasting live from Sidecar Social at the Star in Frisco.
Welcome back. Thanks to everybody for being with us wherever you are tonight. Brad Sham, Nicole Hutchinson, and the Cowboys All-Pro guard Zack Martin. You said something a minute ago that I didn't want to let go about the confidence that a game like this can give your team, but you then also said it could have been a tenuous point, could go the other way. So why this is an odd year coming in anyway. You know, there was so much change and upheaval and blah, blah, blah. Why, if this is the case, is the potential boost you get from a win potentially greater than or less than what might have crept into your heads had you not won the game?
Yeah, I think so much of this league, it's an emotional league. I mean, there's a ton of talent in this league, but you know, you grab confidence and from different situations like that, and you know, I don't know how to put it, but when you go into you know, on the road into a place like that, and different guys are stepping up and making plays, it just you know, for whatever reason, gives you more confidence as you go on. And you know, obviously we've got to be better at home, and we got a big one this week. But we've showed some grit and some toughness on the road, and some ugly road ones this year.
And so this team you're playing this week is a completely different team than the one you played last night.
Yep.
Much different, much better offense, and so that's challenges all around. So if you, it wouldn't be the greatest shame in the world if they won the game. They're playing for a lot too. If that happens, does what happened good last night, you can tap back into that?
Yeah.
Then you'll have the bye, but then you can tap back into that pretty quick?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, everyone is good in this league, and you know, a lot of it, and that's why I think Coach McCarthy, I'm sure he talks about it in his press conferences, but we talk so much about, he says it all the time, chunks of confidence, right? There's different situations, different games where you can take from that and use it as you go forward. So I know for us last night, especially after a couple weeks that weren't so good, to go in there and just find a way to win. Because, you know, as you know, every win counts the same.
Oh, yes, they do. Yes, they do. There's no ugly ones. All right, let's talk about a couple of the young people in your position group. Tough to lose Tyler Guyton. Boom, Tyler Smith, never mind, you're a tackle now.
Yeah.
And I know he's been taking some reps, but
I mean, he's just a stud. He's such a physical freak, and you know, obviously he played left tackle his rookie year, but his development since then has been, you know, he's kind of a runaway train, right? Like, he just keeps getting better and better, and that's what we said last night. We're like, don't worry about him. He'll go out there and he'll figure it out. You know, it may not be the prettiest thing, but he's gonna figure it out, and he did. And then you know, would jump around, but then, you know, a guy like T.J. Bass.
Well, that's the next question.
Yeah. You know, a guy like T.J. Bass who, you know, got some experience last year in a few games, and he's had a ton of reps with the first team unit this year. I mean, obviously, I'm somewhat limited at practice throughout training camp and throughout the week, so TJ's the one in there taking those reps. So that stage was not too big for him last night. He was ready to go. He has a ton of reps during the week, and he stepped in and did a great job. You
guys had to plug and play a lot of guys yesterday on that offensive line. Tyler Smith, of course, moving to left tackle, T.J. Bass in at guard, and then Brock Hoffman coming in for you a little bit. Just what does that say about the ability for you guys to already have that next man up mentality? Yeah, we have a deep offensive line room, and you know, we've got other guys that are ready to step up and play, and you know, that's hats off to Coach Solari and his development of young players, and you know, really those guys prepare in the right way to be, you know, when their number's called, you know, they don't blink, they get in there and just do their job. But
by the way, just so people understand, Nicole brought up Brock Hoffman because they carted you off, and Babe Laufenberg said when they put you on the cart, and we kind of could tell that you were cramping up, and Babe said, oh, he's going in for an IV, and he said, by the way, if anybody thinks they know what a cramp is, trust me, your whole body locks up. How do you describe what you were feeling?
I've cramped before. I've never cramped in a game. It was kind of a, you know, it rained quite a bit before that game, so it was kind of like a humid night, right? It was like 75 and humid, and you know, we had that big like 19-play drive, and I came back in, and then, you know, I think 2 plays later, my calf, and then my hamstrings start locking up, and Jake Ferguson jumped in there and stretched me out on the field, and it's very.
By the way, that's how Babe knew.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Ferguson. If Ferguson's stretching him, he's fine.
Well, because I was it's pretty painful. So I was kind of yelling. He's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Straighten my leg," and he popped down and got my ankle back and was stretching me. And but yeah, they just took me. The locker room was kind of a far walk, so they threw me on the cart, went back, got IV, and then was able to come back for that last drive.
And did you know that Brock had gotten a penalty?
No, I didn't until I came to the sideline. Yeah, no, he was pretty upset with himself about that. But
there's a saltiness to Brock.
Oh, very much
great,
so. Yes.
Great for an offensive lineman.
Very great. Yes, very good.
Yeah.
But he's an emotional guy, and if you get in his face, he's not gonna let that happen.
Rico Dowdle's kind of faced a lot of adversity and battled with injuries, but this year's kind of honestly the first year he's been healthy. Have you seen his growth over the last couple of weeks as far as his confidence?
Yeah, I mean, God, he ran it hard last night, and when we were watching the film on the flight home, and man, I don't remember very many runs where the first guy took him down, and
6 mixed tackles.
Yep. And he was, he wanted the ball late in the game, and we were giving it to him, and it was great to see because, like you said, he's been here, he's been here 5 years, which I don't think people have realized that much, and kind of been through some ups and downs, and putting his time in, and he's done a nice job. I think all of us. Although the run game hasn't been the best this year, we've got full confidence in him and those guys, and we knew it was a matter of time before he broke loose and had a big game.
Before last night, did you have an opinion about why the running game was not where you wanted it to be?
Well, we had a couple games there with, we're kind of in 2 minute the whole game, and it wasn't great, and then. It's tough. When you got guys like CD and Dak and all those guys, and the run game's not working, it's easy to dial those guys up. And so I think we got to give the confidence to the coaches that we can keep coming back to the run game and it can keep being productive for us. And hats off to them for sticking with it last night. And really when we needed it most, I thought our guys came out and played their best football on that last drive.
Yeah. One more thing about the end of the game. You're blocking, play is called. When did you know the ball was out?
When I heard the crowd. Because, I pulled.
Because you can't possibly see it.
No, I couldn't see it. And, sometimes, a lot of times we go on the road, we have more fans than the opposing team.
Not there.
At a place like Pittsburgh, that doesn't happen, obviously. So, I was pulling on that play. So, I was pulling out, and then I heard the kind of the crowd go nuts. So I was like, okay, that can't be good. And, luckily Dak, I mean, we talk about doing our job and like little things, details. The quarterback's job on the goal line is to follow the ball in case something like that happens, and Dak was right on it, and luckily he got on it, and we were able to make a play a couple plays later. But, yeah, not the best feeling when you're sitting second goal from the half-yard line, and you're kind of thinking like, oh, we got this one, and then all of a sudden it's 4th and 4 from the 4.
and this is going to sound like I am linking these thoughts. I promise I'm not. But do you ever get a play called and think to yourself, why in the hell are we doing that?
I mean, yeah, sure, why not? But absolutely. But sometimes, it works out. And but no, like that was the call. We repped that play all week, and the guy jumped over, made a heck of a play, and luckily Dak was there to land on it. And you kind of have an idea. You rep these different situations throughout the week so much. Your openers, your red zone, your goal line. So you kind of know the plays that are going to be called. Like when we were down those last two plays, the 3rd and 4th down, we probably could have called the plays because those are the plays we rep, and those are the plays the coach is going to go to on their call sheet. So those last two plays, we knew those were getting dialed up.
Do you ever express that to Dak maybe, or no, you're just kind of like, I'll let you.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have confidence in the process and the coaches, and we made a play when we needed.
See, I love the little smile on his face because part of what I think you're thinking is I don't want him telling me how I should block it.
Yeah. Sometimes I would run it every play if I could. So,
yeah, yeah. One more thing about this, we'll take another break. The way your quarterback is in the huddle, he's one of the all-time best. And you remember when you went to camp and he was battling to be the 3rd string quarterback, and didn't look like he was going to make it for the first couple weeks. And then 2 injuries happen, and you come back from training camp, and he's in charge of the huddle. And I remember talking to you and Travis and some other guys about how he was in the huddle then. And everybody said it's unbelievable. The guy's just completely in charge. How's he grown?
I mean, he just got he's so confident in himself and the guys around him, and not a cockiness at all. Just he's just confident, and he that permeates throughout the entire huddle. I mean, when we get out there to start the drive, and there's 5 minutes or whatever, and you can just see it in his eyes. Like there's no panic at all, and man, that's contagious in the huddle.
All right, we're going to take another break, and back with more in a moment with the Cowboys All-Pro guard, Zack Martin.
And this segment is brought to you by Albertsons. When it comes time to shop for tailgate favorites, go to Albertsons and Tom Thumb. Get 10% off your groceries every Dallas Cowboys game day when you wear your Cowboys jersey. Albertsons and Tom Thumb, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys.
We're at Sidecar Social in the Star District in Frisco, and we'll be right back.
Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and broadcasting live from Sidecar Social at the Star in Frisco.
Welcome back. Zack Martin is our special guest, the Cowboys All-Pro guard. I'm not going to ask you the question that you don't want me to ask you, but I will ask you one that I've asked you before, and that is, how often do you think about the Hall of Fame?
When I talk to you. And it seems to always come up in our recent
because I want an invitation. And I feel like I better keep reminding you because I'm eminently forgettable.
No, you're not. Come on.
I'm going to go a different route with this one. You've had 6 different offensive line coaches. What kind of impact have they all made on your career?
Yeah, I find, when I talk to people and they say, man, you've had 6 coaches, but I think I'm pretty fortunate to have different coaches. And my line coach in college was also an NFL guy. So
who's that?
Harry Heastan.
No,
yeah, he was in Chicago and then came to Notre Dame my last 2 years there. But the offensive line world, there's a lot of different, philosophies and ways to block people, and I've kind of seen it all. I think I've kind of been under pretty much every offensive line tree and techniques, and the nice thing about playing for so many people, I definitely have my core belief in what I believe an offensive line technique should be. But I think I've pulled, I've been able to pull different things from all 6 of those coaches, and still kind of use certain things in my game. And, so I find myself pretty lucky to kind of have different perspectives of the offensive line world just because it is just such an interesting position.
What have you pulled from Mike Solari?
Man, gosh, the guy's got some energy and just his attitude every day. I mean, he's almost 70 years old, and the guy's got more. I've never seen him drink a cup of coffee. He's got so much energy in the room. And, him more than any line coach maybe that I've had in the NFL is his consistent message and how much he harps on kind of the same thing. He does a great job of almost like speaking things into existence, right? We talk about the techniques so much, and obviously we're repping them, but just the constant consistency of his message, it really rubs off on guys, and it shows up on the tape.
When you talk,
go ahead.
Go ahead. You're fine.
He's been here a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, in the league.
Oh yeah,
in the
very
league.
long time. Coached a lot of good offensive lines, and been around a lot of big time players and great teams, and obviously was here when he started his career.
Yeah, and that's when I met him, and he was working for Tom Landry. Does he ever talk about, or any other position coach you've had talk about how different head coaches for whom they've worked might have influenced the way they teach?
Not really. I mean, I don't think a specific example pops up. Again, like the offensive line world is it's called the Mushroom Society for a reason.
Can I tell you something? One of my most prized possessions, the great Hudson Houck.
Oh yeah. We could add him. It's 7. We had him for about.
And he stuck around. He stuck around because he knew they were going to draft Tyron, and he wanted to coach Tyron because he'd coached Jackie Slater with the Rams. Hudson Houck once gave me a Mushroom Society keychain. Yeah. He said, "You get it. You're an honorary, but that's the highest compliment somebody like me could ever get."
That's a great compliment.
Yeah,
it is. So I mean, we're.
Which, by the way, the Mushroom Society. The idea is, as HUD explained it to me, that offensive linemen basically don't make any noise, don't want any attention. They just sit around in the fertilizer.
Yeah, they're thrown back in the dark, cool room.
Right. And grow.
Grow. Which it's a unique position, right? Like we're the only position really that has 5 guys on the field at one time, and so much of what we do is based off the guy you play next to and the unit as a whole. So, it's almost like the ultimate team sport inside the ultimate team sport. And it's cool to be a part of.
I'm not going to ask you about all of them, but did you play for Callahan?
Yep, that was my rookie year.
So some people think he's one of the greatest of all time. What makes him good?
His just how kind of demanding he was and how much we rep stuff. I mean, I think the amount of sometimes you don't have all the time at practice. It didn't matter how much time we had. We were getting our reps in, and so with him it was just doing the same thing over and over and over again, and it turns into muscle memory. And I thought he did a awesome job with that. I think I'm very fortunate to have him as my rookie line coach. And obviously, I came into a good situation with a great room, but to have him to kind of jumpstart my career, I thought was big.
The other guy that I want to hear you talk about is Mark Colombo.
Oh yeah.
Who one of my favorite offensive linemen who ever played here. And you talk about through the whistle.
Yep.
That's how he played. And did he coach that?
Yeah,
This is a very enthusiastic man.
And that was what made him special, man. He was an attitude guy every single day. And the awesome part about playing for Mark was, he wasn't that far removed from playing, right? So he had, that personal experience of knowing what he's asking of his guys, and being able to talk about that and say, hey, man, this is a hard block. You got to hold up here, though. So he had that experience and that energy every day.
Everything that you've learned from your different offensive line coaches, how has that influenced how you kind of coach the younger guys that come in every year?
Yeah, well, like I said, I've kind of been exposed to all different kind of techniques, and obviously, I try to whatever line coach I've had, I've always tried to buy into what they're teaching, and because like I said, there's 5 guys out there. I mean, if a guy's trying to do his own thing, it's like, oh, I think this works better, and everyone else is doing something different. It doesn't work out quite well. So I've tried to do a good job of, when we got a new line coach, of really buying into their fundamentals. I mean, obviously you have your your core beliefs of different blocks and things like that, but definitely buying into everyone's different techniques and staying on the same page with the rest of the guys.
So this is interesting to me. In baseball, hitting coaches, that's one of the toughest jobs.
Yeah.
Because every hitter feels like he has a different approach that works for him. What the hitting coach has to do is use whatever his core principles are to find a way to let the hitter be who he wants to be within the framework of the core principles.
Yep.
Is it the same with offensive line play?
I think 100%, because everyone's different, right? Like, we always laugh when coaches pull up, like, film a Tyron to try to trip the tackles. It's like, can we get someone else on the film? Like, no one else can do that, right? So everyone is different, how they move, their stance. Some guys can't get their footwork exactly like a coach wants. So there's little things you have to tweak to get on the same page as everyone else. But, sometimes it is hard when you do watch certain guys on tape, because it's like Tyler Smith's a great example. Like, I wouldn't show Tyler Smith's tape to young O-lineman because the guy is such a freak. I mean, he does things that are just incredible on the field that, like, if I try to do those things, it wouldn't work out so well. So you have to kind of tinker with your personnel. But like you said, every line coach has their core fundamentals that they believe in, and those are the things that we want to make sure all the guys are on the same page with.
You're a 9-time Pro Bowler, and you have fewer holding penalties than Pro Bowls.
Applaud that, please.
Yeah.
Applaud that. That's stupid.
amazing.
That's a stupid statistic. Nobody
Gotta
else
say.
has ever done that.
What is the key to staying disciplined at this point of your career?
Well, I think it starts off with my technique fundamentals. Like, that's something we talk about every single day. And then also, I think especially when you're run blocking, I mean, pass protection too, but I feel like I have a pretty good sense of what it feels like to hold and what officials are looking for on hold. So if I find myself in compromising situations or that I got someone gripped up too much when the ball is going by, I think I have a pretty good feeling on when to let go, when to kind of push that line, but then get off of it. And it's something, it's a harder thing to learn, right? I mean, it takes some time to get that down, and but it's something that it definitely has come throughout my career. It didn't just start off that way.
So when you come in the league, whether you're a first-round draft choice or a rookie free agent, TJ Bass looks like he's going to have a great career.
Yep.
But you're young and strong, and you're going to live forever, and you can do everything, and you can do it whenever you want.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to insult you if I suggest that everyone reaches a stage in their career where you say, I don't know how many more of these I'm going to do. And so when you're as far into a career as you are, do you find yourself consciously forcing yourself to stop and be in the moment and absorb, like Pittsburgh's a great example, but even AT&T Stadium, when something's going good, when the locker room's good, when the flight home is great, do you find yourself consciously saying, oh, hold on to this because this isn't going to be here forever?
I mean, I had it last night. I mean, and that's something that, you hear former players talk about all the time. They don't always remember the wins and losses in the games, but I can tell you right now, everyone's going to remember that locker room last night after that win and the the delay and coming in and we're getting a team breakdown at 1:30 in the morning, and obviously coach is from Pittsburgh, so everyone's jacked up for him after the game, and those are the things that like I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. Like just there's nothing. I tell people all the time like people don't understand how good it feels to win on the road. When you're in someone else's stadium and you're in the locker room and guys are going nuts. I mean, there's not a lot of feelings like that.
And Mike said something today about. And I know you've done this before, but after a win, he'll go to you it's about 15.
Yeah.
What is that?
The time?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, so I'll give you the backstory. So this is like I don't know, probably.
See, this is good. He understands. We need backstory.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
This is like maybe like 2017, 2018, and we never play noon games. Like we get like 1 or 2 a year. So there was a game, we were playing Detroit at home, and it was a noon game, and I had like all my high school buddies in town. They come down for one game a year, and they were all down, and they come down for the noon game, so we get a little extra time after the game to hang, and it was only like 3:15, and like we never get done before 8 o'clock or whatever. So whatever after that game, I just screamed, it's only 3:15, and that's kind of stayed true throughout the last 7 or 8 years.
And what did he say to you last night?
He said, like, what time is it? I was like, it's 1:07. And he was like, yeah, of course,
What's been your favorite locker room moment in your career? And where would you rank last night's?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I can pull one out particular, but, like, those, like, tough road wins, there's nothing like them. I mean, obviously, yeah, if you go out there and you blow a team out, it's still great and everyone's happy. But those hard-fought wins where both sides of the ball made plays down the stretch. It was kind of ugly, but we found a way to win. I mean, those are the ones that you can just tell. It's not just the players. It's the coaches. It's the staff. Like, everyone, for how much time that everyone in that locker room pours into it on a weekly basis, to see kind of the fruits of your labor after hard.
That's the payoff.
That's the payoff right there. Is that feeling in the locker room? That's it.
We're going to take our last break. Questions from our audience here at Sidecar Social for All-Pro Zack Martin when we come back. And Nicole,
yes, the segment
who else is bringing us this fine program?
Luke Casey. Stand tall while you're tailgating or cheering in the stands with the Dallas Cowboys collection by Luke Casey. Shop the collection today at Luke Casey's 6 DFW locations or online at lukecasey.com. Luke Casey, the official boot of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
We'll be right back.
Back to the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and broadcasting live from Sidecar Social at the Star in Frisco.
Welcome back. It's the Cowboys Hour with our very special guest, Zack Martin, the Cowboys All-Pro guard. Before we take some questions from our audience, at this stage of your life, what do you do in downtime?
Hang with the kids, honestly.
And what about, do you ever get just like Zack time?
Like when my wife's laughing over there. She's like, yeah, you get plenty. Don't worry about it. Yeah, the road games. I mean, these road games, that's kind of my time.
That's your Zack time?
Yeah, that's my Zack time.
So before they came along, how would you?
Me and my wife always laugh about it. It's just like our world was just so much different, right? Like on an off day, we could just, you just want to lay on the couch all day and binge watch something. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So those days are over. But a couple of them are in school, and if I'm not getting treatment or rehab, and I'm kind of just hanging with them.
What's your favorite go-to or fun go-to time with your kids and wife?
Man, big park guy. I love the park. We got a couple nice parks in our neighborhood, so we.
Well, your backyard's a park, isn't it?
Yeah. We got or swimming. They love getting in the pool, and obviously we get to do that pretty much all year round down here.
Love it.
What other sports did you enjoy playing?
I was a basketball player. Like that was my first kind of love of a sport. I love playing basketball, and
you were a low post guy throwing your weight around.
Yeah, I was. Played the AU circuit, did that whole thing, and then like sophomore year of high school, I'm like, 6'3", 6'4", center. There's not many of those. So, I always played football. I always loved football, but I would say like my sophomore year of high school is when I kind of made the transition. And I still play basketball, but like, hey, this could be something that could take me somewhere.
I mean, guys who play basketball with you give you a kind of a wide berth. You could drive the lane all day if you wanted to, couldn't you?
Yeah, no, I was decent. I had a decent post game. I had a nice little short corner jumper,
We need the proof. We need the proof.
All right, let's take some questions. Go ahead.
Good evening, Zack.
How we doing?
My name is Rambo.
What's up, Rambo?
Since you are the best right now, and I know you've have a bunch of accolades, how much has your routine changed as you've stayed in the league more and more years? Is it more intense, or do you kind of scale back a little bit because you get these signs from your body telling you, hey, I need to kind of take it easy a little bit?
Yeah, good question. I would say my routine has picked up as far as just like the overall care of my body and the time I put into that outside of the building. That has definitely changed, and I'm a routine guy. So if I find something I like, I stick to it. So for the last couple of years, I've kind of had a similar routine, and it makes the week pretty easy because you're doing the same thing throughout the week. And so yeah, I've definitely stepped that side of it up, and obviously, during the week of practices and stuff like that, being smart and figuring out the times that I need to be out there and the reps that I need to get versus being smart and taking care of my body and making sure I'm feeling good for game day.
Are you a routine guy in other aspects of your life?
Oh yeah. That's like
example.
I just do like the same thing all the time. I don't know.
Get dressed the same way.
Yeah, everything.
But you're not superstitious.
Not like hardcore superstitious, but there's certain things like I would say I do that like would probably be viewed as like superstition. Like my pregame routine is like a very like there's time slots for everything, and I've had that one for a while.
And if something changes, then the whole feng shui is.
Yeah, like a great example. Last week we were in New York, and we had a little late start on the bus to get to the stadium, and hit some traffic, and got there a little late, and I didn't hit the panic button, but I was kind of like, hey, this is kind of jacking with my pregame routine, but we made it work.
Hey, Zach, my name is Corey.
So cool.
When you talked about it earlier on the last drive, like how y'all kind of ran the same play back-to-back, but I feel like with you and Terrence, like y'all one of the best with the combos, and I feel like y'all was getting a lot of yardage on that side. But together with that question, is it like, does it take continuity like with new offensive linemen as far as like Cooper at center and guy at left tackle for the offensive line to like kind of gel like in weeks ahead?
Yep.
Like last night's game probably be like a stepping stone for getting that continuity to keep going as the weeks go by.
Another good question. I think again,
it's a very intelligent.
That is, that's a great question. offensive line play, especially, like, right, I've talked about it tonight. 5 guys on the field. We've got to be on the same page at all times. So, yeah, you go through some growing pains with new combinations of players. And you mentioned Terrence. Like, I was thinking about it the other day. Terrence is I think he's the longest I've played with a right tackle. I think this is my 5th season with him as the right guard, right tackle. I played with Doug for 3 years and then LC for 3 years. And me and Terrence have been together for 5 years. So that definitely is a huge part of it when you have that continuity with the same guy. And I know how he's coming off. I know how I need to fit so he can do his job. And so, yeah, that's a huge part of it. So, you know, and then with young guys, it's just about getting those reps. It's all about those reps together. And, you know, BB and those guys have done a great job of, you know, starting their careers off with that.
When did BB first start impressing you?
Well, really, kind of later in training camp, honestly. You know, he was running with the 2s a lot, and so I didn't get a ton of work with him. And then later in training camp, he started getting more reps, and then obviously when we got closer to the season, he was kind of the guy, and you know, we started to gel together a little bit, and he's going to be a very good player here for a long time. I mean, the guy is powerful and smart, tough, but plays hard. I mean, he's everything you want in a center.
When do you remember him first saying, "You're the guy I look up to. You're my idol"?
Yeah, I mean, I try to do it. You know, when we drafted all those guys this year, try to reach out to them, and because I know sometimes it's hard for me to put myself in you know, see myself in that light or whatever. But I remember coming here and being in the locker room the first day and seeing Witten and Romo and Dez and DeMarco and all those guys and being like, holy smokes! Like, I was watching these dudes and now they're my teammates, and just how welcoming they were and how comfortable they made me feel early on. So I've tried to do that throughout my career when we've got young players, especially in our room, is, you know, we have our fun, but to make them feel comfortable and part of the unit so that, you know, when we hit the field, you know, it's seamless.
How much have you appreciated the work ethic that Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe have kind of shown? Because I remember in training camp after practices, like, Guyton was working, and then Cooper obviously continuing to be growing at that center position. So how much have you appreciated that?
I love it. And I mean, that's something that it was here before I got here, you know, Tyron and Trav and those guys kind of set Doug, Ron Leary, all those guys. There was one way to do things in our room, and we've tried to keep that standard and that tradition going throughout. So, you know, I think it makes it easy for young guys because you come in and everyone's doing, you know, things the right way and preparing the right way, and it's almost like, hey, if I don't get on the train, I'm gonna fall off. So try to make it easy and show what the standard is in our room.
Still having fun?
Oh yeah, I'm having a blast. I mean, again, like games like last night, it reminds you like why you still do it and why it's worth putting all that time in. So yeah.
Mike McCarthy gets the game ball.
Yeah. Yep.
What made you guys? This was his first in his coaching career, he said. So what made you guys decide?
I did say that after the game. I was like, good to get a win in Pittsburgh. And he said, I think he said it was his first time he ever won in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, since 2011, I believe.
Okay.
Super Bowl.
But yeah, it was. I mean, he's if you know Coach McCarthy, he's as Pittsburgh as it gets.
Right.
I mean, the guy's got so much pride in his, which is awesome. It is awesome. But
I think that's one of the things I like about Pittsburgh.
That's what everyone. And I was talking to my brother-in-law this morning because he's got some buddies from Pittsburgh, and he's like, no one loves their city more than guys from Pittsburgh. And you know, we had like our team meeting before the game, and he was giving us some history on the steel mills and kind of where he grew up, and you could tell how much like passion he had for it.
This is Mike.
This is Mike. Yeah. So it just made it a little extra special after the game.
And was he? He's not a really emotional guy.
You know, he kept it. I mean, he talks about Pittsburgh all the time, so it wasn't like you know, it wasn't like a off of his you know, his normal speeches or whatever. But there was a little extra just about Pittsburgh, and he told some stories about growing up and kind of the neighborhood he grew up in, and it was pretty cool.
Did you guys like Pittsburgh? Did
I
y'all
love
have a good time?
Pittsburgh.
Really?
Oh, I love
yeah.
Pittsburgh.
I didn't get to travel, so I'm just asking. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't leave the hotel, but it's a cool. I mean, it's all those kind of Rust Belt cities are really cool, and there's a lot of history, and you just tell that those communities are very tight, right? It's a cool atmosphere.
Yeah, I didn't leave the hotel this time either, but I have in the past. There's some just gorgeous, beautiful topography.
Yep.
And the people are real.
Yeah, they are.
The people are real. And you're a Midwestern guy. Okay. Do you ever think someday I'm going to miss this?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I've put last decade plus of my life has been dedicated to this organization, and whenever that time is, it's definitely gonna be tough.
All right. Well, it's not yet.
Nope, it's definitely not
yet. Still stuff to do.
Yep.
This is the All-Pro Zack Martin. Thank him for being with us. Won't you really appreciate it, especially after last night.
Thank you.
And we will be back next week, Nicole and I, on the Monday going into the bye after Detroit, right here at Sidecar Social on our next Cowboys Hour.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!